I've never personally suffered the sudden death of someone I love. I'm guessing I will someday, and I dread it. But so far, for these 59 years of my own life, I've never suffered the sudden death of someone that I love dearly. Though I do not want my loved ones to die, obviously, when it is their turn, I would appreciate greatly the opportunity for a conversation, for learning, for forgiveness, for thankfulness. In those days that we would have in between. I would like that opportunity for myself as well. It might be selfish to want that, but I do. If you were to ask me that question, I would opt for having a warning, a heads up, a knowing what a chicken I am before great physical suffering. I think I'd still wish it for myself. How about you? If you had the choice, which of course you don't, as I said, but if you did, how would you prefer to go? Suddenly, unexpectedly, surprised, but swiftly? Or would you choose the long approach? Illness, infirmity, debilitation, probably no small amount of suffering, and then death. None of us want to think about that much. Frankly, I think it's a bit morose. But the end will come, and no one escapes this world alive. I was given time with my mom, and I, like many of you I know, who were given that same gift, would not exchange it for the world. The good talks, the memories shared, the insights into her life, and most importantly of all, for me, the chance to clean things up. The chance to clean up what still hung over us. The hurts and the sadnesses and the regrets that were never expressed. And the opportunity I had with her to say thank you. I, like many of you, would not trade those days for the world. This chance to clean things up between us was a great grace. And this cleaning up in all of our relationship is essential. It's essential if we're ever to know what it means to be complete here. For being able to move on, not just the next morning, but at the end of our lives. To be able to move on with some sort of peace of mind and of heart. For if things are not cleaned up, then the mind goes back and forth from this memory to that with no amount of pain, no small amount of pain and regret. And the heart seems to cling to those unspoken words, those unexpressed affections and gratitudes. In short, everything is harder, everything is more difficult if we don't live with things cleaned up between us. And we can clean up things with God as well. Clean then. Clean in the sense that the residue of my living has been washed away, handled, disposed of, so that we can be complete together, you and I. Complete together for this day between God and myself as well. Getting rid of that residue of living that's part of every single human relationship without exception, and our relationship with God. This cleaning up is about forgiveness more than anything else. To ask for forgiveness, to offer forgiveness. We dread doing it. It seems like it's going to be icky and messy and painful, but it's not usually as bad as we think it will be. And it's about making amends. Making amends, making up in one way or another for our not acting justly in this world. with each other. Clean living is what I'm talking about. Are you doing that every day? Are you living cleanly by the end of every day? Have those grudges, those words that would have been spoken, have they fallen away from you? Have they been given away as they should have been? Are you like those servants in this gospel who are facing the darkness, holding nothing in their hands but a single light? Anything less than that would be to deprive ourselves of the joy that God would have be ours. Not just in the life to come, but this life too. To be able to say to someone in an ongoing way, if there's anything left over between us, I forgive you. And I ask you to forgive me as well. What matters here is this, that this gospel is reminding us that not only we will die, but also the people we love the most in this world, so will they. But this is not brought to our attention so that we can check off the bucket list before it's the end, get that trip in or that new experience. That's not what this is about. Nor is it meant to set the tone for anxiety and worry, not even a little, but rather to set the tone for appreciation and intentionality. Appreciation and intentionality in the time we have left, because the truth is there is only the time we have left. Just a couple of weeks ago, my dad and I went for a walk. He's 93 now. I think by virtue of his age alone, he seems to get this. He's spending so much more time these days saying important things now. He does not hesitate these days to say he's sorry for this or that over the years of him being my dad. And I have to tell you, it's very tender and quite beautiful to experience that with him now. He and I have never been more complete. The Catholic Student Center, too, has taught me this and relentlessly reminds me of this truth. To work in a place, in a community where a fourth of us leave every year is to not really be able to take our students for granted ever here. It is to have to live more intentionally with them, seizing the day with them, making the most of the months of the 4 years or so that we have together. To be as grateful and as intentional every one of these days as we can, because that's all we have, is this much time. When my mom left, she left my family and me a cassette tape, a little tape with a message on it for us. So many leave messages for their family. I know people who leave letters in safety deposit boxes that families find later on, video messages even on their computer with the ability to find that message quickly and easily upon death. Maybe that's how you might want to consider doing it, should it come suddenly for you and you don't have time to talk. Or maybe you can call them tonight. No, not next week. Tonight. And clean up that relationship right now. At least you're part of it. There's no guarantee they'll understand one word of what you're saying. There's no guarantee that they're going to say it back to you. That doesn't matter. But we can clean up our part so they can die in peace when it's their turn and live in peace right now, and us as well. The time is now, my friends. There's no better time. There's no other time. Now. If you happen to be the kind of person like myself who would like a heads up, a warning before that last day for myself or for those I love, then reread this gospel. Reread this gospel and consider yourself warned.